Okay, so continuing on from the honesty video, I want to talk about denial and acceptance. And I want to talk about it in relation to health, harm reduction, that sort of thing. And I think it's something we're all guilty of. Sorry to stroke it, dog. We all make excuses for some of the side effects that we feel. I know people that have health issues, and these are quite intelligent people, quite knowledgeable people, and they're still in denial that their drug usage or their lifestyle has caused these issues. And I think we all do it. I know I've made excuses in the past. And I think one of the problems is that initially these symptoms just sort of grow. I think if we hit sudden issues, and probably trend's the best example of this, because most people when they start trend will very, very quickly get night sweats, bad dreams, and all those sort of effects. But a lot of the toxicity build-up is gradual. We all know when we're on cycle, and I think everybody goes through this, where we hit a point where diet's on point, food's going down well, training's going well, weight's going up, we feel good. And then all of a sudden it starts to wane. And we'll get the odd day where we feel a bit shitty, a bit fluey, a bit run down. A couple of bad workouts, appetite goes astray. And it might be 1 day or 2 days, and then the next week it's 2 days or 3 days, and then it becomes a little bit more consistent. And then the bad days or the not so good days actually become the good days, and then there's even worse days. And this is a point where your body's turning around and saying to you, look, I'm tired, I've had enough. Toxicity builds up too high, stress, food, diet, whatever it is, but it's telling you, I'm not doing so good here. And we all structure cycles. We all go 8 week, 10 week, 12 week, 16 week. But how many of us listen to what our body's telling us and adjust those cycles accordingly? And then the thing is, though, we then start second guessing ourselves, because it's like, late night last night, or just a bit off. And then the next day we'll have a good workout. And so we forget the bad one and we think it's nothing to do with it. And we don't actually realise that these bad workouts are becoming more and more common, or these feelings of being a bit rough in the morning, or appetite not being there, whatever it is becoming more and more common within our lives. The amount of people that have turned around to me that have made a decision to take some prolonged time off and have turned around and gone, you know what, I feel great, I've not felt this good in ages, because they were so used to feeling like crap that became the norm. And it wasn't until they removed everything that they actually started to realise how far off the mark they were with the way they were feeling. I know a competitor quite recently spoke to me. They've been off 3 months now, and they feel the best they've ever felt. They're enjoying the training. Everything's going really... And I must admit, despite the problems I've been having with my kidneys and my medication and everything, this period that I've had of non-use and just training, I've enjoyed the training, and the training's been pretty productive, to be fair. And I think that's something that we forget as well, that there becomes a point, and it was actually a good friend of mine, Andy Bolton, that once said this to me. There's no point being on gear if you feel like shit and you can't train properly. And he had a very, very valid point, that how much does our usage start to compromise our ability and productivity in the gym? And I know very much on both my big cycles, UC1 and UC2, that they ran over. It was particularly notable in UC1. You could see a definite point where the balance tipped and the training became less productive, and the growth became less productive, and the enjoyment started to go out of it. And as I said in the past, enjoyment's a very key factor in being productive in what we do. But then there's the other one as well. There's the excuses, or there's the online bullshit. This I see a hell of a lot, where you'll see, now I don't go on forums anymore because generally they're full of dickheads and I can't be arsed with the shit. But I still do frequent a few Facebook pages. And you'll get a post, oh, feeling great, this, that, the other, going amazing, this, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, you messaged me last week about how your dick doesn't work anymore, or you're psychotic, or your relationship's breaking down. So why the fuck are you online telling everybody that your life's amazing because you're on gear? Come on. You don't have, I'm not saying you have to tell everybody that your life's shit. But definitely don't do the opposite, because all you're doing is promoting. People look at what you're doing and think, oh, he's got no problems. When in fact, your life's a fucking disaster. I've seen this time and time again. Or the other one, the big one, where I get people ask me for advice all the time. And I'm not saying I'm the expert. I'm not saying I know everything, because I fucking don't. All right? I learn every day. I'm always learning, and I know far from a lot with this stuff. But don't talk to me about something medically related, health related, should I say. And I'll say, yeah, it's because of this, this, and this. This is what's going on. You could really do with doing this. And the next thing I see is a post on Facebook or somewhere about basically the same question, but omitting the health issues that they're aware of, that they're having. And all they're doing is looking for the answer that they want to hear. Denial. Lack of acceptance. They look for something that justifies their mindset because they don't want to face the truth. They don't want to face the fact that what they're doing is harmful, what they're doing isn't working, what they're doing is causing them an issue. And all they want is someone to say, no, it's fine, what you're doing is great, mate, you'll be spot on, just do this. Even though deep down they know that's bullshit. The motivation behind this? I don't know, I think in general we do find it difficult to accept that we've fucked up. I think we do find it difficult to admit to ourselves that we've fucked up, let alone admit to relative strangers. But then there's also, is this masking a bigger problem? Is this person now dependent? Are they psychologically dependent? Do they feel they can't progress without gear? Are they scared of not being on gear? So irrespective of the fact that they have health concerns, irrespective of the fact that they have symptoms, they can't face the prospect of coming off. So they'll make excuses. You may remember, if you're an old fart like me, or you're from the UK, an ad campaign from my youth about heroin use. And basically, what it said was that, it was a young man, and he, on the ad campaign on the TV, he admitted to taking heroin. And then he cuts and he's looking a little bit under the weather. And he's like, I just got a bit of a cold, that's all, I'll be fine. And then it cuts again and he's looking a bit worse. Oh yeah, just a bit, just run down, just because there's and it cuts again and he's looking worse. And it keeps cutting to images where he's looking progressively iller and iller and iller. And all the time he's got an excuse. It's not the drugs. It's not his addiction to heroin that's causing him the problem. It's a cold, or it's this, or it's that, or it's the other. And I see that in bodybuilders. Not just bodybuilders, users, all the time. Oh yeah, I've just got a bit of a cold. I've done it myself. I've just got a bit of a cold at the moment, or I've just this, or I've just that. And it's difficult sometimes because, sometimes there are genuine. I mean, some of you may remember my hamburger stage where my face looked like a beef burger. And everybody was like, that's the gear, that's the gear, that's the gear. And it was, but it wasn't. Because it wasn't DHT stimulation of my sebaceous glands. It was stress on my central nervous system, which was causing adult rosacea. So it was the overall stress that the drugs were placing on my body that was causing my central nervous system, my adrenal system to be very fatigued, which in turn was causing the outbreaks. So it's sometimes quite complex of the health issues, but I don't know why, but I don't know if it's something of human nature or it's something specific to people that train and use, but we tend to just constantly make excuses. Excuse me, the dog's decided, oi! Pack it in! The dog's decided to bark at something. But we do it a lot. You know, we struggle to look at ourselves for what we really are. I've gone through stages in my life where I've not seen how fat I am. I've gone through stages in my life where I was a lot fatter than I thought I was, where I was smaller than I thought I was, where I was bigger than I thought I was. You know, we have this inability to sometimes accept who or what we are. And we definitely struggle to accept problems. I get messages from guys that are on TRT, and this might surprise you, but recent studies are showing that around 50% of users fuck their HPTA axis. Generally, it's testicular damage. So, pituitary gland production of GnRH and LH and FSH is all fine. The balls just don't respond. The amount of guys that are on TRT and deny it, the amount of guys that cover up, and I get messages about, oh, what about this, what about that, and I said, well, basically, you fucked yourself. Oh, no, but, you know, and they just don't want to face that reality that their usage has caused them a problem. It's one of the reasons why I advocate blood work so much, because at least you can have a look at what's going on. But that doesn't always show all the picture. You know, sometimes you just need to go by how you feel. And as human beings, we're not supposed to wake up every morning feeling like shit. And this work, stress, family, all plays a role, and it's not always easy to isolate the causes behind this. But don't discount your usage. Look at it. Be sensible about it. Be aware of its side effects. And sometimes it's just a case of you just being on too long. If you start to see things go downhill, chances are you need a break. And that'll actually be more productive. Now, whether you go a PCT route or go a TRT route is up to you. But, you know, just some downtime will usually actually have a greater impact on your overall growth and recovery than trying to just plow through. But as trainers, we're hardcore, we're beast mode, we're, you know, smashing it in the gym, hashtag bullshit, talking out your fucking ass bollocks. And we don't quit and we don't give up. Well, actually, you know, sometimes it's more sensible to just walk away. Take some downtime. I struggle with that. I know I do. And it's a difficult judgment call, it really is. But, you know, sometimes we just need to step back, take a look, address where we are. We get blinded, we get wrapped up in this you can't quit, don't quit thing. And, you know, there are exceptions. I mean, contest prep is the main one. You know, when you're prepping for a contest, you're going to feel like shit. It's going to be hell on earth, and you do have to push through it. But it shouldn't be like that every day, you know, throughout your training. And yeah, there are some times when you need to push. There are some times when you need to walk away. I spent 18 months in a lot of pain because I refused to walk away. It was stupid. Set me back further than it benefited me. But I was so focused on thinking UC2, I wouldn't give up. Stupid, really. It's usually you need somebody else. I think it's a decision that sometimes you can't make yourself. And sometimes you just need someone to just say, you know what, 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. Okay? And this is where you're at. Because we can't see it for ourselves. That's why I always said it's a really good idea to be open and honest with at least somebody in your inner circle about what you're doing. Your partner is ideal, but I know lads that hide that from the partner. So if not your best mate, somebody that's aware of everything you're doing. So they can give an unbiased opinion on if you've changed, if there are changes. You know, listen to what people say. If you look like shit, chances are you do look like shit. And have a look. It might be work. It might be stupid hours you're working. But it might be the drugs. And at the end of the day, there's no reward for being the biggest guy in the graveyard, is there? You know, the studies we have, the information we have on these drugs isn't the best. I am seeing a change. I am seeing two real areas of problematic growth. The biggest one is psychological. I'm seeing more and more guys having issues revolving around dependency of use, anxiety, depression, and all sorts. And again, there's studies out there showing that a large percentage of ex-users have depression, have anxiety issues, have long-term mental problems post-usage. Did the usage cause it? Or did that cause the usage? God knows. But we are seeing more and more and more fertility issues. The problem is, as a male, the last thing you want to be doing is running around telling everybody you're a jaffer or you can't get wood. So we tend to keep it quiet. But, you know, honesty, openness with yourself, awareness, no denial. Sometimes it's worth just taking a step back. Do you no harm? Just have a look, have a check, get blood work done, and get a second opinion. Right, I'm going to get off. So take care, and I'll speak to you guys.